Slash ID Buckers, how the heck are you? Started a little bit early. Got everything ready here. So why not? Let me adjust. How the heck are you? I was gonna come on earlier. We actually went out today. Earlier today, met a couple friends for a couple beers. So when I got home, wife and I had dinner. So we took a little breather. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do a video after we head into Easter Sunday tomorrow. No, I'm not in this nice little refined jazz club behind me. Yes, you might guess. Anyways, I digress. I did pick up a couple. Let's see what to do with them here. Just randomly grabbed a couple beers out of the fridge. Two from Logboat Brewing that I picked up in a mix pack not long ago. I hadn't had them for a while. They've recently become available in my neck of the woods. I'm going to start with their snapper. Always start with the snapper, man. We're not talking about the same thing, are we? So no, probably not. Start with the snapper. Reminded me of a line from a movie, but I'm trying to let that go. From the great Alan Arkin. Anyway, Logboat Brewing Company. The Snapper IPA. American IPA, it says. It is 7.2%. It's a big IPA. I don't know. Let me show that to you. Snapper is an easy drinking, dry hopped American IPA brewed with 4 varieties of American hops. I don't know that I'd call this a hazy, although you can't quite see through it. And I don't know that I'd call it a West Coaster either. So they're probably right to refer to it as just an American IPA because it kind of feels like a hybrid. But that's the one thing I think American craft beer gets wrong is we think we have to label everything. Right? We've got to label everything. Yeah, it is. It is just an IPA. And definitely an American IPA. Oh, this one isn't bad. It really isn't. It's nice, medium bodied, I'm going to say. It does hide that 7.2 rather well. It seems maltier than most that are around these days, which I personally like. I just didn't get on board that hazy craze. I still don't. There's some of them I think that are okay, they're adequate, but the be all end all I just don't get. Tom, don't you love it? It tastes just like orange juice. No, if I want orange juice, I'll drink orange juice. I don't like that one-dimensional fruity note that so many hazies have. Also, my issue with hazies is that chalkiness. So many of them have that chalky residue that I find off-putting. Even some of the better ones, just the way they leave that residue behind that just doesn't work for me. And I'll run into people and say, "Well, I don't get this. How do you not? I mean, you get it leaves that layer of something. How do you not get it?" But anyway, but that's the thing. We all feel it a little bit differently. That's why some gravitate towards specific styles. I personally miss IPAs like the Grand Teton Pursuit of Hoppiness, known as kind of a red IPA, I guess. But the truth is, when that IPA first, or actually they called it a hoppy red. Let me rephrase. When that first came out, many IPAs wore that color. Then, of course, there's that argument: how can an IPA be? How can you have a black IPA? You can't be black and pale. You can't be red and pale. And I kind of get that, but here's the however to that argument. The however is most of these IPAs at that time were kind of a deep amber color anyway. They weren't really pale as you would think pale. They were using pale malts, but they didn't necessarily leave IPAs of the time weren't this color. They were a darker, more of a deep amber. Some, again, even had that reddish hue. So I suppose there is those arguments. I don't know. And there are those that claim that the so-called black IPA started here, this part of the country, that part of the country. And then, of course, there's another argument that, well, there were actually two different beers. We're talking about hoppy black ales. However, they're rooted in something different, so that each name applies. Quite frankly, I don't know, and I don't care. I like the IPA, India Pale Ale. If it's black, I say in IDA, in India Dark Ale. That makes sense to me. I've also liked the simpler terms, hoppy black. If you've hopped the hell in a dark ale, just call it a hoppy black or a hoppy red. I mean, I don't know why we feel the need to get so fucking clever. Let's just call it what it is, man. But yeah, I mean, this color that an IPA seems to be these days aren't the original color of IPAs. Anyways, I'm gonna let that go now. I'll let you percolate on that for a second. I'll keep working on that beer. Yeah, it really isn't bad. A lot of big citrus, kind of a mixed bag, right? I get a lot of citrus zest, little bit of orange, some tangerine, some grapefruit. But you're gonna find some of the usual tropical fruit suspects. You might find pineapple, mango, papaya, even passion fruit, depending on your knowledge of those fruits. As I tell people ad nauseum at this point, you're not going to taste what you don't know. You're going to interpret it a specific way. Uh, but it's very, very nice kind of spring summer IPA, right? It's light, it's refreshing, big citrus notes. It's very inviting. Just a well done brew. I've got today and tomorrow Easter off, so I'll kind of relax. My wife and I don't have any plans, it's just the two of us. Holidays tend to be tricky anyway with us, so we don't tend to really plan much on holidays because neither one of us knows how the other one's going to be feeling in our grieving process. So sometimes it hits me harder, sometimes it hits her harder, and neither of us know until that particular day, to be honest with you. Oh, sometimes we can feel things coming on. And with, there are times we try to, minimize it, but that's why we don't really try to plan anything per holiday. Really, we just kind of see how it goes and see what we're going to be able to do that day. Uh, Mercy, that isn't a bad beer. It really isn't. I'm going to set that down for a second. I'm going to pour a little bit of whiskey while we're letting that one settle in. I was saddened to hear at the beginning of the year that Dogmaster Distillery out of Columbia was closing down. I'm sad that I don't have any of their products with me at the moment. They never really quite broke into the Springfield market for one reason or another, but man, they were doing some great stuff. I've visited them. Oh, I think it was 20. I can't remember if it was 21 or 22, but really had a great time at their distillery. The owner was very gracious. So I was really sad to hear that they were shutting down. But I wish I had some of the products to share with you, but I don't. So anyway, this is one out of Kansas City, though. This is Lifted Spirits. It's a Madeira cask finished rye. This particular rye is at 92.2 proof, comforting and warm with notes of salted caramel, tingly oak, and maple honeycomb. I haven't had a chance to visit this distillery, but man, this particular product is just crazy good. Man, it is Rather amazing. I think my system is beered out after having 4 beers earlier today. Having trouble getting this down. Alrighty then. We'll take a little break now and I'll work through this rye. Oh. Just a 2 ounce pour here, just a light pour, even though it doesn't look like that, but there's actually 2 ounces in there, believe it or not. Oh, it's a rather herbal nose, more so than I get from most ryes. With carefully curated ingredients, our handcrafted spirits lift up our community, creating unique experiences with evocative flavors. Yeah, this stuff is really good. It really is. I've got it back in August. I still got about this much left. I'm trying to be careful with it, just having a little bit every once in a while. But once you get to a certain point in the bottle, it's really comes time to finish it up. I've been trying to eliminate a few things lately. This rye is just crazy good, though. It's just, man. Again, it's a little herbal on the nose, more so than most, as I said earlier. Not as sweet as many. Either you feel that rice spice, you feel the barrel, you feel the usual suspects. It's a very nice rye. It is perfect to drink neat, but the flavors and aromas do lend itself well to making a very nice Manhattan and or old fashioned. I don't know that it needs any more sweetness, so it may lend itself more towards the Manhattan. In all honesty, doing an old fashioned with this, I would tend to go very light on the sugar cube or simple syrup, whichever you're using. I'm not a fan of the muddled sugar cube because no matter how much you muddle, no matter how much you try to dissolve, you're gonna get some grit, and I just don't like that gritty drink. I don't dig it. But when I've talked to folks about 20 years my junior, that's what they like. They like that gritty sugar cube nonsense, and I'm just not a fan. Gosh, that's nice. A little bit of honey-like sweetness in there. Little bit of spice in the finish, but that from the barrel, you feel that rice spice right about the middle. You feel that barrel spice in the finish. And they can match in two completely different ways. Oh, fuck nuggets and gravy. Man, that is good. Oh, wife and I we've been talking about we're going to cook for Easter all week. We never could quite pin it down, but I think we finally made a decision. We decided to do something different. At one point, we're going to do a traditional kind of a thing, and then we weren't, and then we were again, then we weren't, and I didn't really want to get out and buy anything new. I had a couple pork roasts in the freezer, so rather than go buy a ham, we just decided to go with a pork butt in the freezer. We decided to go chili verde with it, so I'm gonna season and braise that pork butt. Picked up some poblanos, some jalapenos, some lime, all the usual suspects, if you will. My original plan was to try to cook it this evening, but I probably won't. Wait till tomorrow, put it in the oven. It'll take a few hours to cook. I want to braise it. So you want to get a nice sear on each side and take it out. Then I'm going to, I want to roast those tomatillos, the onions, and the poblanos. Then put it all in the oven to braise. Oh, at about 300. I usually start at 300 for the first hour, then I'll kick it down to about 250. With the size of this roast, probably about a 4-hour total cook time. Ah. As always, anybody watching, every question or comments, please put it up on the screen. I will answer almost anything unless you're being a colossal asshat. But it's nice getting out today. I've acquired a few beer drinking friends as of late. I'm not going to mention their names for their. What is it they used to say in the TV shows? The names have been changed to protect the innocent. I'm going to leave their names out of it. But it was nice hanging out today. We went to Hold Fast and then went to Springfield Brewing Company. I almost got into a little scuffle with an old friend of me. I will go so far as say nemesis, more of a friend of me. Somebody I've known for a long time, but I would never say we were ever friends. We didn't run in the same circles, let's just say. You got those folks born on third base that thought they hit a triple. I think they have a right to treat people a certain way, and I just don't do that, man. Oh man, that is a nice rye whiskey. It really is. That the Madeira cast, you think it would add some sweetness, but it really doesn't. You will pick up some fruit notes in there as well. For me, I'm picking up some stone fruit. Jason, I'm gonna post your comment, buddy. Just saw you there. Tom, have a blessed day tomorrow with your wife. I appreciate that, Jason. I do. Thank you very much, man. Hope you're gonna have a nice Easter with your family as well. I was kind of surprised. I mean, this is a rather conservative neck of the woods. So I was kind of surprised by the amount of breweries and bars that are going to be open tomorrow. And then, as a friend pointed out, he said, us sinners need someplace to go. I said, okay, I get it. But yeah, I thought a lot of places, especially some of the smaller, more mom and pop places, would close, but most of the breweries are remaining open tomorrow, with just a few exceptions. I'm just glad I'm not working tomorrow. It's not that I would have an issue with working on Easter because I spent so many years in retail. I worked a lot of Easters, but with the holiday and the situation with my wife and I like to have the holidays off because, like I said, I've never know where I'm going to be in my personal grieving process on any given holiday until I wake up that morning. To be honest with you, kind of depends. Sometimes you'll see something or a memory will get triggered, and sometimes it makes things better. Sometimes it makes things worse. Like I said, I just never know till that day happens. So I really try to make sure I'm off certain days. So I don't have to pretend everything's fine when I know it's not. All right, I'm going to try one more with you. Missouri Mixer. This is a taproom release from, again, Logboat out of Columbia, Missouri. This is our Dark Matter, a porter with coconut. This particular beer is at 6.6%. So we're probably closer to an American style porter, I would say. Especially since we're adding coconut to the mix. Porters with coconut seem to be a big thing. Ah, there we go. Let me show you using my right-handed mug here. It's a right-handed mug because you can only see the pheasant if I'm holding it with my right hand anyway. So the nose is nice on this. It really is. You do feel those coconut notes on the nose. Being a porter, it tends to lend itself to some chocolate notes as well. But you might even pick up a hint of coffee in there, which wouldn't be unusual. A 6.6, I'm going to say a light to medium body. I don't feel like it goes all the way to medium. I mentioned chocolate earlier, more like a very dark chocolate note with that coconut. Think Mounds bar. Yeah, think Mounds, okay? Not almond joy, think Mounds. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. anyways, I digress. Oh. Yeah, you know what? A lot of folks, you see a lot of coconut porters, a lot of coconut browns. This one isn't as sweet as many of them on the market. That's might be one reason I do enjoy it. A lot of them tend to get just too sweet for me. Again, with this one, think Mounds Bar, that dark, almost slightly bitter chocolate with that coconut. And even though you do feel the presence of coconut, it really isn't here in a heavy way. It's just kind of you know it's there, but it doesn't overpower the beer, and maybe that's another reason why this particular beer works for me. Oh, cheese, biscuits, and gravy. Finishes a little drier than expected. So I don't know if I'll get out and about tomorrow. Like I said, we're gonna kind of play it by ear. But the plan is to do the chili pork verde. I've got the tomatillos. My wife picked up the tomatillos, the poblanos. Picked up some jalapenos for me because I like to spicy it up. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom, the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and excuse me. Hope I didn't get any on you. Well. Oh, mercy, Percy. Pizza. I had that pizza for dinner. Oh, that's Italian sausage, mushrooms. Holy Moses. That's going to hurt later. All around good guys lunch. Oh, mercy. That was brutal.